How's it going, guys? Midnight Rains here, and today we're going to be going over the water units. So we're going to scroll down here. I did want to start by stopping pretty low in the 2 stars. I know you get Acelia or Isola. Um, she's okay early game if you want to level her up a bit to cap at 2 star, maybe 3 star if you don't have anything. You're free to play. Hard to find a bunch of stuff, you know. Um, she's pretty good to use. Got a little ignore defense on there if you can get that trait going. So I mean, not to be overlooked. Then we'll kind of scroll up here. Karai is okay. She's got this freeze on her. Not as powerful as the other late game fairies, but yeah, it's okay if you set up right. Another, again, early game, probably not even mid game. Nina, on the other hand, is great for even late game players. Pretty sure it's my guild leader. It's Vlad. He has a level 40 Nina, and she just destroys. He's always talking about her. The skill cooldown is kind of a little bonus on there, but the main thing is it's always these one shots that all the little assassins have. She only hits up to 4 times, but she has, that first attack trait and a chance to ignore defense, which if it ignores just one of these, any target is pretty dead. And even if it doesn't, it silences it pretty much almost all the time. So, pretty good unit, even early game. So moving on. Yeah, a lot of these are kind of food. Ukulele. Some people say she's good. I didn't really care for her. I started out with a lot better for healers, like Miho. Definitely, if you had Miho, you probably don't need this. It's got like a nice heal on it and a little immunity, but it just doesn't compare. But if you have nothing, you got something. Going over to Water Elemental, I know a lot of people, when we all first started the game, Water Elemental was the free unit of choice, because he had a full team nuke, and that's very needed early games. You can start farming, hitting all the floors over and over. But now everybody starts with what I call Twee over here. Everybody starts with him. And there he is. He or she, whatever. I say Twee, but yeah. So everybody starts with her now. She's a lot better. So I probably wouldn't build that. Some people still use Crema. I hear she's pretty good. Mainly just for the ability to remove beneficial effects and ignore the target's defense. Just kind of a little single target nuke there. She's got a row attack, damage decrease rate. Nothing too crazy, but just kind of that one-hit nuke thing. Tina is a new unit. I might actually use her if I get her. She's got some potential. She can steal beneficial effects from a target and then benefit them herself. Cool thing on that is once she steals them, if you have this trait, those beneficial effects can't be removed. And then she has when she hits 1 HP, this effect activates and she doesn't die. So that might be something. But, and of course she hits X formation, which is going to be pretty huge for Arena. Nothing hit X formation before these guys came out. So everybody's going to be wanting to play him in high arena, so everybody's going to be watching out on your little X formation defenses there once everybody starts getting these. Early game tank, some people use him. Early game kind of cross formation hitter. If you don't have anything that hits cross formation, some people do use her. I won't criticize that. I mean, I used a couple stuff. Even this guy with his his tank ability here, and then giving everybody a defense buff. So it's okay. It helped a lot. Early game, get through some of the harder levels, like hard mode and held mode. Early game, just so you can get those free scrolls and stuff. Non-legend dragons, always this trait right here makes them pretty viable. Overcome death, it helps out in a lot of situations. They have their 9 square AoE, which not to be overlooked, pretty good. And then he's got like the shield and stuff. So it's pretty much the same with all the non-legend dragons. Overcome, nuke. Yeah. Water God, haven't really seen anybody use her. Rebecca sees some play. Even there's a couple people in top 100 who use her. She's got a max damage that can be inflicted to her, 25% of her max HP. Just for her, but that's still pretty good. So you can possibly put her in front if you make her tanky enough, or you just kind of want to get just want to get like a 1 nuke off, and then go to something else, inflict that like 40% on a team with Miho, and then nuke from there. It's up to you. So she can be used. Masa, I don't really see. You'll notice off the bat he's already weaker than Qian. Has like the chase ability, but he falls through compared to Qian. Qian just hits a lot better, is more consistent. Captain Raiden. If you're building an evasion team and you don't have a lot and your gear is sort of lacking, this guy can make up with it, or make up for it. Sorry. He increased the team's evasion rate by 25% once you awaken him, and that can be very helpful. He also has like his own counterattack. If the enemy misses the attack, that can work for himself, or if you use the penguin. And I'll get to the penguin in a second. They kind of combo together. You can remove harmful effects on your allies in row and column. This has saved me in arena before. I don't have the best immunity. You'll notice I'm missing a character, a couple down here, who gives the best immunity in the game. So make do with what you have, I say. So definitely helps with removing any like bleed and such. Also has like a freeze, and then removes beneficial effects that hits the enemies. The freeze is okay, but removing the beneficial effects can be very helpful. So definitely a good unit. She doesn't see much play. Probably early game tank, because she's like a 5-star, and so the stats would be better. So you wouldn't have to like throw on a bunch of equips. So, but possible use. Miss Cherry, or Cheery, messing up all the names tonight. Great unit. I mean, right now everybody's kind of on the fence about her, because with multi-hit she can die easily because she's very squishy, but she can full team heal and prevent beneficial effects from being removed, and then cast immunity against all harmful effects. And it's just like with her skills she has, I mean, recovers target has a chance to, like, heal additionally. I mean, it... Or wait, I read that wrong. I don't have her, so I don't really, I basically just nuke her out lately. So, yeah, okay. So then, you know, decreasing the weakening effects, pretty useful. You'll overlook it sometimes, and you'll be like, what's an extra turn? But that extra bleed can really do a lot of damage to you if done correctly on you. And the recover is always nice with the little final heal. Amazing unit for just about anything you do in game. She can pretty much be like your go-to healer and for immunity. Molly, I wouldn't recommend Molly, but I know some people would. She's got a little bit of nuke in her, but her stats don't really compare as much. Alcio, I heard she was okay for something. One of the floors in TOT Hard, someone used in Alcio. I'm not sure if it was Dean or somebody recommended it, but it worked. So I'm not sure what he used it for, but that's what he used it for, and that's all I've heard Alcio is good for. Pross is pretty awesome. He's got this great cross formation hit, and it hits multiple times, which is always a plus. So he's a great nuke. He's got that decreased skill cooldown if you hit higher than 30%. That move, when you get enough attack and crit damage and crit rate on Pross, anything in cross formation dies. It's basically how it works. You can increase the skill power at the cost of increasing the skill cooldown by an additional turn. Kind of worth it if you're just kind of going for a one-shot nuke. He has a great straight shot that can also silence the enemies. That silencing can really change games, even in arena. Late game, if you hit there and you just like silence enemies, the TOT, floor 100 even, he is great for, because he can silence mid and then go into his cross formation nuke, and that is what makes him a great unit. Going over to Wingfred, she, I have been hearing lately, is awesome for Nest and Arena. I think mine's at like level 34, but I just don't have the equips for it. She's pretty easy to get her crit rate up to 100%, and when you do that, if she crits, she silences the targets for 3 turns, and then also gets a crit damage bonus of 50%. She's got a cool 3 random enemies get hit with it. It does, you'll notice it's a little low, but when you hit 3 targets with high crit, you silence them. So I kind of think of it as a silencing ability, so that works pretty cool. And then this move, just like whatever is in front of her dies. It's like a you die kind of move. It hits 4 times, so nothing kind of gets stopped by it. And the attack speed thing isn't like something you look out for. It's mainly that it hits 4 times, and when people stack up so much crit rate and crit damage on her, she nukes pretty heavy. Going into General Pang, the character that combos with Raiden really well. Combos really well for early game. Late game, when you start getting really good evasion equips, you won't need Captain Raiden anymore, and you'll just be able to go off of your equips and gems too, because the gems count. You'll notice off the bat his moves are kind of lacking. He hits a front row for a low amount of damage, to be honest, and he gets like a continuous damage immunity for 3 turns, which is pretty helpful, but it's not much. He freezes all the enemies. That one can be cool sometimes. That one has actually came in handy, but it's his team trait that works so well. It makes the team counterattack if the enemy misses the attack. So let's say you get hit with an attack and you have high evasion and the attack misses. He attacks back with a regular hit. Well, if he gets hit like with this 4 consecutive times and they all miss, he attacks 4 times back. So it makes it pretty cool. Those little hits add up. They can end up changing the game with enough attack or crit damage kind of deal. This revenge could kill a unit attacking with a skill, and that's not even your turn. So it kind of speeds up your game. So great unit. I use them everywhere, to be honest. Snow Dragon is pretty cool. He got revamped, and now his cleanse actually gives a 1-turn immunity to the full team against all harmful effects, which is pretty nice. I know before it was just kind of a cleanse, and then you're fucked. But anyway. So you got a cool nuke, as usual, with the dragons. His is not very powerful, but he does have the immortal trait, which is always handy with the dragons, and he also gets the perfectionist skill, which grants, or perfectionist trait, which grants the immunity against those inability and continuous damage effects. So legend dragons not to be overlooked. Even if you're just using it in arena as a tank with immortal and perfectionist, great unit. Irene used to be really crappy, and now she is really amazing. She now has a back row and a front row hit. They both hit consecutively 2 times, and they both have a chance to attack again 2 times. I think it's like 50%. Yeah, 50% and 50%. When it goes off, it's crazy. When you have this skill with it, I know it's level 6 gems, but it decreases the skill cooldown by 1 turn if the inflicted damage is higher than 30%. When it attacks consecutively, if it hits 30% and then another 30%, you just decrease the skill cooldown by 2, which means that these moves, well, this move can instantly be used again. Not to mention if it procs and hits an additional 2 times, so that it adds up pretty fast where she can start using her own moves again. So you just kind of protect her with a tank, make her insanely nuke build. She'll throw out damage pretty fast, and she can wipe teams. And with the right team protecting her, she can be your main DPS. Going over to Sable, still one of the best nukes. I have yet to get her. As you can see, she's grayed out. Awesome nuke. She's got 2 straight shot attacks. This one is not as good as the other one, but it's probably because this one has the bleed, and when the bleed goes off in addition to the attacks, the bleed gets by Miho's trait. So those kind of traits that limit the amount of damage that can be done, dots get by that. So that's kind of why the bleed effect kind of makes it even worse when she hits your row. I've seen Sable instantly take out like whole rows, especially anyone who's stuck on TOT 100, especially early game, she will just, whatever's in that row will die. Kind of how top arena works right now with her. Anyone in that row will die. You need really tanky units to out-tank somebody's Sable right now, especially if it's built right. Going over to Rosemary, got revamped, even got a new picture, got a cool parrot on his shoulder there. They took his shark cannon away, which makes everybody very sad. It made me very sad. It looked really cool when he shot it. But he can silence a row. Basically, it's 80% chance, but it just about 100% chance it goes off if you got enough accuracy on there. If you'll notice, it inflicts some additional damage there with a chance. That's always a added plus when that kind of stuff happens. Showtime is an awesome move. It hits 6 times. If it kills the unit that is in the front, it goes on to the unit right behind it and starts hitting it with the consecutive shots. So that's pretty cool. Farming, I've seen it used in mines even, and not sure if it was in B6 Fort or not, but pretty useful, especially arena. He sees a lot of play. He's got some attack speed traits here that are pretty useful, and the freeze, it's not really needed. If you wanted a different equip that had better stats, I would go with the better stats than this trait here. But great unit. Fenzi. This is one of my favorite units. He is a great tank. He has an ability here where he puts up a chance to freeze enemies when attacked, and then greatly increases the defense of all units on your team for 2 turns. It makes squishy units tanky. It helps a lot. He has this confidence. It's a trait that works for the whole team. Basically, you gain damage decrease rate by 4% for each remaining enemy. So basically off the bat, let's say your opponent nukes first, you have a 20% chance, or not 20% chance, 20% of damage that's decreased. And so you can stack that up. There's other gems that can decrease that. And then there's other units you can pair this with where that stacks. And that helps a lot, especially in farming, like mines and fortress. That decreasing the little hits from all the little minions will make those runs a lot quicker and a lot easier on you. You can heal through them real quick. So he's a great tank. Snowy got revamped. When I first pulled her, she came out the first week and I was like, oh my god, this is such crap. And then about a couple weeks ago, they changed her second move